Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Trevin Giles to defeat Zach Cummings. And I'm here to talk about Bernardo Sopai making his UFC debut on 4 days' notice to take on Vinicius De Oliveira, who's at a little more notice, probably like 2 months' notice. But he's still taking this fight on 4 days' notice. So, kudos to him. But Bernardo Sopai, unlike AJ Cunningham, who's also taken a fight on 4 days' notice for this card, Bernardo's had a training camp. He's scheduled to fight, or he was scheduled to fight, a week after this fight. So that, combined with the fact that he's a 23-year-old kid who would still probably be in fighting shape after drinking a case of beer, leads me to believe that he's going to be in shape for this fight. And I don't have any doubt about his cardio or whatever the fuck. And that's part of the reason why I'm picking him to win. Picking Bernardo Sopai to win, but my heart's not totally into it because he has 2 losses and I've only seen one of them. I don't know what the other loss looks like. He's good. They're both by decision, and the one loss I did see is the most recent loss, and it was a close enough fight, but I thought he definitely lost. But still, I don't have the full picture of who Bernardo Sopai is, especially in a losing effort. Still, the reason I am picking him is because I've seen enough of him to trust he's got good offense. I think he's got good pressure that is already a half a point on the judges' scorecard just because he's the one leading the dance. And he's also got really good power, which is the biggest vulnerability in this fight for either fighter is the durability, the chin of Vinicius De Oliveira. If you would ask me the one thing I'm certain of, it's if Vinicius De Oliveira loses 5 fights, at least 3 of them are going to be by knockout. I think it's his biggest weakness, even though I'm aware one of his knockout losses was a cut to Christian Quinones, although he was still kind of knocked down, knocked against the cage anyway, right before the fight was stopped. But the other 2 losses are knockouts. One pretty recently, 3 or so years ago, against this guy Ali Taleb. It was a fucking war. They each knocked each other down. And in round 3, though, he was the one that got knocked out, and with a big counter right. It wasn't like some accumulation of damage situation. No, he was taken out with a punch. As was the case in this other fight against Adriano Ramos. I think it's Ramos. If he's Brazilian, it's Ramos. But I don't trust the durability of Vinicius De Oliveira, and I think he's got a style that's going to invite knockouts. But the thing is, most of the time, it goes his way. Again, he's got 15 knockouts in his 19 wins, and that left hook against Victor Madrigal, there was nothing flashy about that. That was just a basic punch, and that was power that got that done. So even without the flashy shit, this guy is a big danger and probably the more dangerous guy than Bernardo Sopai. The reason I'm picking against him is just because of the durability. I'm a guy who tends to look to the losses more than the wins. But Vinicius De Oliveira, both guys, frankly, are underrated on the ground. Both guys have finishes on the ground, TKO finishes as well, and submissions, and decisions, at least for Vinicius De Oliveira. He actually beat the guy that beat Bedzat Akhmakan, who's making his UFC debut here against Umar Nurmagomedov. He choked out Bezkat, and Vinicius De Oliveira beat him by decision. It looked pretty comfortable doing so. And that was within the last few years. So I like Vinicius De Oliveira. I think he's very exciting, but I like Bernardo Sopai, and I think despite all the shitty circumstances, he's a guy with a bright future, and I think he's got more ways to win. I think if this one does go to a decision, he's going to have pressure on his side, although Vinicius De Oliveira is the bigger man. I think if he's able to get any sort of advantageous position on Sopai, he can probably control him. But I'm going with Sopai. I think these guys are both inclined to fight on the feet. And Sopai, even though he's probably given up some reach, I don't know it. I know he's given up 3 inches of height. So he's going to have to get by some, physical hurdles. But I think he will. He's a guy that can fight comfortably, switches stances a lot. He's got good weapons from both stances. A mean a left high kick, and again, a missile of a punch. And I think Bernardo Sopai eventually will catch Vinicius De Oliveira. So the pick is Bernardo Sopai, and I'll wait to see the props that aren't available yet, but I threw a small sprinkle on him just because he's at plus money, but my heart's not really into it. Again, I don't have the fullest grasp on either fighter, even though I've seen a ton of footage on both guys. But I would say I think Vinicius De Oliveira, if he was the win, it would be a decision, despite him being so dangerous. But even that's not something I could fully commit to, because again, I don't have the fullest grasp on these guys. But anyway, the pick is Bernardo Sopai, and I guess if I was forced to give you a method, I'd go with knockout. I'd go with him getting a knockout late round 1. That he gets by the danger and the length of Vinicius De Oliveira and lands a missile on a chin that can't handle a missile. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.